Hey Glow Up Gang, it's Maiysha back in the Glow Up's beauty closet where we gloss, we floss, and we boss. And this Big Beauty Tuesday, we have someone so special. If Khaleesi is the mother of dragons, what do you call the mother of icons? I call her Tina Knowles Lawson. And while Miss Tina, as we fondly call her, is at this point an icon in her own right, she is also a woman who is deeply invested in our civic rights and our human rights. During this pandemic, she has been at the forefront of so many issues, whether it's getting people tested for COVID, lobbying Congress, and most recently, she has partnered with the legacy beauty brand African Pride. You know you grew up with some African Pride. She has partnered with African Pride to encourage us all to get more engaged with the vote. And I can't say enough how important voting is. I know a lot of people feel like it doesn't matter, but we're not just talking about the presidency, y'all, although let's talk about the presidency. We're talking about all the things that happen in local elections. We're talking about all the things that happen in local courts. And so if you don't think that your vote matters, Miss Tina is here to tell you why it does. Miss Tina, welcome to Big Beauty Tuesdays at the Glow Up here at The Root. I am so happy to have you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
I'm amazed that you could find the time because I've been checking you out this summer. We're now into fall, but you were very busy the last few months. You appeared in Black is King. You were co-producing COVID testing drives. Thank you for that, by the way. You launched your own series on Instagram Live. You lobbied Congress for voting rights, staged your wearable art gala, the annual Waco wearable art gala virtually. So, we know you're always on the move. Would you say that keeping busy has been maybe one of your coping mechanisms during the pandemic?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you, the first couple months, going from seeing my grandkids, all of them, on a really day-to-day basis, I started feeling sorry for myself because my husband was so busy and I was just kind of sitting in here. And I decided one day that I was just going to take this time and utilize it to give and to help and to put good stuff out in the world.
You have done some incredible things with this time, and I have to thank you for one of them that is very, very near and dear to my heart, which is your stance on voting, which I think is hugely important. Obviously, we are in an unprecedented space right now, and you, in addition to being an ambassador for the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights and the Still I Vote initiative, you partnered with African Pride this summer on the Take Pride and Vote campaign, which is going to run through Election Day on November 3rd. And you're even starting your own holiday, which I think is super cool. I want to call it Miss Tina Day, but I hear that's not what it's called. So can you tell us about the campaign and why it was so important for you to get involved?
We mentor kids. My husband and I, we have 96 kids, and we meet with them every Monday on Zoom. And I asked the kids, I was like, what are you guys doing? Because they were so down after the George Floyd murder. And they were like, well, our voting won't make a difference. And it just hurt me to my heart because so many of our people feel that way, especially people in underserved communities. They feel like their vote is not going to count and they don't have a voice. And it breaks my heart. And I Still Vote, which is the Leadership Conference of Civil and Human Rights, was looking for someone to help partner with them. And I did a couple of panels and it just all fell into place. And I felt so blessed to have those resources because I'm always like, how can we make it simple for people to have information at their hands? How can we make it simple for them to register to vote? Because people are so intimidated by the process. So it was great having all those resources of information. And then African Pride came along because we wanted to do something that got the word out. And they were so gracious to sponsor me having a live every week. And the subjects are about people voting and them just having a voice and social justice. And it's just been a way bigger response than I thought it would be. So I just really appreciate them so much because they put their money where their mouth is,
I too think it's amazing that you're using your platform in this way. I do want to talk about African Pride for a minute because this is a legacy brand. It is one I grew up with in my household. I don't know if you had it in your household. What is it about this brand that you love and why you wanted to partner with them? I know you have a very extensive history in beauty.
It was easy because I do appreciate and I love the products, but also they are civic minded and they believe in giving back. And they're very, a lot of companies come at the time when it's like, okay, now I need to get this good press, so I'm gonna do something. But there are companies that consistently give back to the community that they take from. And that is what I can appreciate about them, that they don't hesitate to do what they can to give back to the community. But the products are very good too.
Like any great mom, you also give great advice. And, with this election coming up, and to your point, I do think that one of this disheartening things to see is this apathy among people who look like us, who do not feel that their votes count, who do not feel that it matters, who think somehow they're choosing between the lesser of two evil, that kind of rhetoric that we hear all the time, and don't feel the power in.
And they don't connect the dots. I mean, nobody's connected the dots for it. So when I told these kids, who's a lot of their parents are incarcerated, right? Or their cousins or their brothers or whatever. And so they're like, it doesn't matter. The police are still gonna brutalize us. The courts are gonna be unfair. They're gonna send us to jail no matter if we vote or not. So how I connected the dots for them is to say, you guys can vote the mayor in, and the mayor hires the police chief who enforces the law, who hires the police officers. The judges that your brother went before, you can elect them in. And they were like, really? People don't really connect it that way. All they think about is the president. They don't think about what's going on in their community and their neighborhood, and that these people are the lawmakers. So the district attorney that is trying to send your brother to jail, did you help to put him in office, or did you get to vote? Sometimes I know I've been very guilty of not doing my research, and if somebody sounds black, I'll vote for them. They sound black. And that's so irresponsible. It's true. Or, the person's black, so I vote for them. And they turn out to not be, like Daniel Cameron. I've talked to Breonna Taylor's mother and her attorney, and, they voted for him because they thought, oh God, this is a brother, we might have a fair chance. Well, that is not true. So the other thing that I tell them is that it is so important to have your information and to check these people's records out, because that little paper that they give you when you go to vote, it just gives you their background. It doesn't really show you anything. So one of the things we've done is that we've been researching the candidates and kind of sorting through them and seeing what their records are. But these are really simple things that if people are told that in our communities, they understand it, they connect the dots, and they're like, wow, it does make a difference. Now I see why it makes a difference. But you have to give it to them at the local level, because they don't feel like, whatever president is gonna make a difference. And this new attitude about, I'm just not gonna vote because I don't like either candidate. Not voting is a vote for the person that you don't want in office. This is an emotional time, and it's a scary time for us. And we gotta, let's deal with what we need from the administration after they're in there, but we don't have the luxury of not voting.